leading by 5%, according to these fresh numbers. So is it a good thing to be this far out this early on? Many an early front runner has flamed out, as we all know. Let's take the temperature a bit and look at some of the players. Phil Musser is the former senior advisor to the Romney campaign. Juan Williams is an NPR senior correspondent and Fox News contributor, of course. And Andrea Tantaros is the former press secretary to the House Republican Conference and a contributor to FoxNews.com. Welcome, everybody. So, Phil, let me go to you first, having worked with the Romney camp. What do you think about these numbers?
Well, I think they're very good news for Mitt Romney in the context that if you look kind of behind them a little bit, a lot of the negative impression of Governor Romney that maybe existed with the American people as he suspended his campaign is largely dissipated, and so his unfavorability has shifted fundamentally, and that's certainly a good thing. I mean, to be honest with you, after getting out of the presidential campaign, there couldn't have been a bigger champion for the McCain ticket than Mitt Romney, and he worked very, very hard to help elect Republicans in the 2008 cycle. So
Phil,
his stock has gone way up.
It's interesting to me. I think one of the reasons that his stock has gone way up is because we fell into such economic turmoil, and that wasn't really anticipated at the time that he started to slip in the campaign. The focus was much more on Iraq and on Iran, and that I think helped John McCain quite a bit. When you look at Mitt Romney's experience in business, I think that might be one of the things that people look at him and go, gee, maybe he would have been good to have around, right?
Well, remember that Mitt authored a book about his experience at the Olympics called Turnaround, and so I think a lot of people look to Mitt Romney as the ultimate turnaround artist. And so, if our country is in a situation and you led the segment right, this is so far out. But if we're in a situation in a couple years where we haven't really come out of this economic collapse, if we're still struggling and we need someone who understands business, how to create jobs and turn America around, I think a lot of people will naturally gravitate towards Romney.
All right, Andrea Tantaros is always shy with her opinions on things. Thinks that Mitt is just not the guy, right? You say we need a Maggie Thatcher type, an Iron Lady, and it's not going to be Mitt.
Yeah, well, I think you have to look at the Republican primary field right now. I mean, Mitt Romney certainly has the substance area cornered, and I think that's what a lot of Republicans are hungry for. But Sarah Palin has the emotional side cornered, and Mike Huckabee seems to have the spiritual side. Mitt Romney is going to face some criticism because midway between his career, he did a bit of a reinvention, Madonna style. He's also going to take heat for health care. I don't think his health care plan is ultimately going to sink him. There are cost issues with his universal health care plan, and people are calling it bad policy choices. But at the end of the day, I think when you look at the Republican Party right now, Martha, this is bigger than just the direction of the economy. This is the direction of the country is at stake right now. Everything that we know. And I'm not sure that Mitt Romney is the one, the Maggie Thatcher style, that can really rally the base, pull over independents, because this is so much bigger than just the stock market.
And it's interesting because he was in favor of the initial bailout of the financial services industry. He was not in favor of the auto bailout. Juan, let me go to you. And you look at the players out there. You've got Newt Gingrich, who is definitely taking like the straight policy route. He's writing books. He's sticking to policy, which is what he's known well all along. A lot of people would like to see Sarah Palin do a little bit more of that. And Mitt Romney is, doing his business economic thing and, making his appearances and raising a lot of money, $1.6 million.
Good point, Martha. He's got the money's rolling in, and I think in large part because people see that he has the business acumen. They like the idea that somebody with business skills, business background, someone who made the Olympics a success in Utah, might have something to say about the way the economy is going nationally, especially with the deficit as a major issue, with jobs under President Obama. The one thing I would say about this poll is don't forget the people at the low end. Right now you've got people like Haley Barbour, the governor of Mississippi, Tim Pawlenty, governor of Minnesota, down there at 1-2%. I don't think that's going to last. I think you're going to see, as people become more familiar with them and with their executive experience and their stand on taxes, that they're going to come up. So I think it's interesting. This is a really rich field, and I think, contrary to what I heard earlier, I don't think people had a negative feeling about Mitt Romney after the election. There were some questions about his being a Mormon and all that. I think Mitt Romney actually has come out with a better reputation. People have a better feeling about him now than they might have had during the 2008 campaign.
Well, I'm sure GOP folks would be glad to hear that you think it's a rich field. I think some people feel it's not a rich field.
Shortest bench we've ever had.
But go ahead, Bill, real quick.
Well, Martha, no, I think Juan's exactly right. I mean, I think there is going to be a lot of fluidity here, and he makes a really good point. Your viewers should keep an eye on this field. It's very flexible. Palin could come up, Barber could come up, but Romney has reversed the image that he had about a year ago, and that's good news for him.
It's a land far, far away at this point, but everybody likes to think about what's coming down the pipeline, and it may be tough to be far out in front at this early stage of the game. Thank you very much. Great panel. Phil Musser, Andrea Tintaros, Juan. Thank you very much. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You're welcome.
8 people dead in dual bomb blasts at 2 luxury hotels. Americans injured in the explosions that rocked Indonesia's capital. The first terror attacks in Indonesia in 4 years. An expert on the region with some great